This morning on DC News Now, heat advisories across the DMV, tracking storms and humidity through your midweek. Avoiding the high temps.
I will be staying inside and hunkering down.
People beating the heat at local businesses and gyms. And the latest on a shooting at Manassas Mall. Police searching for the people involved. And global leaders descend on the district.
Major commitment by the United States now being tested in Ukraine.
Ukraine taking center stage at this week's NATO summit. And dealing with panic attacks. Expert advice on how to deal with those scary moments this Wellness Wednesday.
You're watching the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Well, good morning. It is 8 o'clock right now on a Wednesday morning. Starting off the live look outside, you can see the National Cathedral out there. The sun is shining, but it is definitely hot and humid when you step out the door. So be mindful of that and be weather aware on this DMV First Warn Day. Thank you for starting your morning with us here on DC News Now. I'm Tanaya Wright.
Yeah, good morning to you. I'm Corey James. Shanika will have more on the roads in just a moment for you. But first, let's start things off with Jackie in this 8 o'clock hour for the forecast and updates on that. And for folks who are heading out there, just dress cool.
Exactly. I mean, it's already hot and humid at this point. It's only going to get hotter and more humid through the day today. High temperatures will climb mid-upper 90s again this afternoon, but those feels like temperatures could be near 110 degrees. That is for those areas shaded in pink on your screen. That's where we have that excessive heat warning. That's up and down the I-95 corridor, including D.C., Southern Maryland, as well as Northern Virginia. So all those areas I just listed, make sure that you are taking this heat and humidity very seriously. For that heat advisory back out towards our western areas, I-81 corridor, north central Maryland, as well as over towards the Shenandoah Valley. That's where we could see that heat index up to 108 degrees. Highs today will top out into those mid to upper 90s, but like I mentioned, it's going to feel even hotter. I would say add about 10 degrees more to those air temperatures later on today when you factor in that high humidity. That's the remnants of Beryl back over towards the Midwest and the Great Lakes region. We'll be watching as that cold front approaches our area, and that cold front will provide us with a chance for a few afternoon and evening thunderstorms. We could see a few of those popping up back over towards our far western areas into the early afternoon. And then later on this evening, a few of those sliding on through from west to east. Then behind that cold front, some subtle relief as we look ahead towards tomorrow. More details on that coming up. Shanika's back with the latest on those roadways. What are you seeing right now?
All right, Jackie, checking back in Montgomery County. You're not doing good right now along the 270 spur. This is 270 heading northbound. We're still dealing with an overturned tractor trailer. That is, again, heading northbound right near Democracy Boulevard. So you're jam-packed in this area, actually both heading north and southbound. Let's flip over to some maps. Looking at 270 overall, most of it is looking good. You will see some slowdowns, though, through Gaithersburg, Germantown, but Rockville, you are looking okay until you get to that spur. Then you'll see some north and southbound delays. On the Capitol Beltway top side, very slow. You're going to be on and off your brakes. We had an earlier crash right near Georgia Avenue. That is now gone, but we do have two crashes still in Montgomery County, one on Flower Avenue and Piney Branch Road and another one on Colesville.
Thank you, Shanika. Breaking now, D.C. Fire and EMS say one person is dead after a tree fell down on them. This happened at Garfield Park in Southeast, right near 3rd Street and South Carolina Avenue.
And right now, officials say no one else was hurt. We have a crew heading to the scene at this hour, and we, of course, will bring you the very latest as soon as they get there. Time right now is 8:03. Maryland's Department of Health releasing data on this season's health-related deaths. Officials say 4 men, all in Prince George's County, have died because of excessive heat. Now, they say the men were 45 and older. Comparing the numbers to previous seasons, Maryland officials say last year there were 9 heat-related deaths. They also say back in 2022, 5 people died because of heat, and the numbers they say range between 16 and 21 from 2019 to 2021.
And while some people enjoy being active outside, this week's extreme heat could make it difficult to fit in your workout. But there are some ways to stay safe while being active outside. According to the American Heart Association, it is best to avoid working out in the early afternoon because that is when it's the hottest. You should also make sure you're hydrated, wear light or loose clothing, and a hat. Also, try to take breaks in the shade as well. One personal trainer believes the best way to avoid heat illness is to stay hydrated.
Working under heat, you could kind of get a little lightheaded, dizzy, so that's why you want to always make sure you're either inside with AC or you want to take little steps. Work out outside in this heat for maybe 30 minutes, then 45 the next day, then like an hour. Ease yourself into it. Don't just go outside and say, I'm going to work out 2 hours.
Now, if the heat is too much for you, working out indoors is still an option. Experts also suggest eating cold foods before or after working out. That includes frozen fruit or even a smoothie.
And with this heat alert, many people across the DMV, they are choosing to stay indoors. And that, of course, is impacting businesses that are seeing fewer customers who are avoiding the hot weather. We spoke with the server in Northwest D.C. about how their restaurant is working to accommodate customers.
Try to accompany as many people as we can, but obviously that's not easy given the size of our space. But then also when people do have the option of outside, it's like miserable for them overall.
And some businesses are using fans and mist machines to help guests seated outdoors. And of course, to stay weather aware 24/7, you can download our DC Weather Now app on your phone. Just scan the QR code on your screen right here to get the app from the App Store. You can also visit our website, dcnewsnow.com, for the latest weather updates.
Developing now, new documents from D.C. courts accusing two women of killing a man by cutting off his thumb. Vasile Teklamariam was found dead in his apartment in Northwest back in April. Police later arrested two women, Audrey Miller and Tiffany Gray. According to court records, a witness believes the victim was Gray's sugar daddy. That witness also claims to have seen the suspect using the victim's severed thumb to steal money from his accounts. Now, both women are facing murder charges. And Prince William County Police asking for your help identifying the suspects involved in a shooting at Manassas Mall. Police say two groups met near the food court yesterday afternoon. After a fight broke out, both groups took out guns and went into the mall's parking lot. That is where police say they started shooting at each other. Police say two people were hit. That includes a 51-year-old man who was not involved in the fight. Police say the victims are expected to survive. They detained two men in connection to the shooting. They do not believe the shooting was random and are now working to identify other people involved. And starting next year, Virginia school systems could be cell phone free for students.
An executive order is now in place for the Department of Education to develop new policies for devices. Governor Glenn Youngkin issued that yesterday, and he says the goal is to limit screen time to improve mental health and learning. Now, the order comes a month after Loudoun County schools started requiring middle and high students to silence and put away their phones.
It's a huge issue, not only in the classroom where they're always on their phones, but even in the halls they're running into each other.
Right now, Alexandria and Prince William County school districts are considering cell phone policies for students. 8:07 is your time right now on this Wednesday morning. Today is day 2 of this week's NATO summit and the event taking place right here in D.C. As leaders prepare to gather, we are hearing from political experts weighing in on the importance of the meeting. Bill Schneider, a retired George Mason University professor, says European leaders are seeing the value of NATO with everything going on between Russia and Ukraine. He says the war is making some of them feel vulnerable. Now, Schneider tells us America's commitment to their countries within the organization could be tested.
May win, and that's a real threat to the United States because we will be called upon to step in and help save Europe as we were in World War I, as we were in World War II. So it's a major commitment by the United States now being tested in Ukraine.
Snyder says NATO members are nervous about the outcome of this year's presidential election and are questioning how the U.S. will commit to the organization if former President Donald Trump is elected.
And with the summit taking over the district, navigating the streets around the summit can really be a hassle. While the summit is a major milestone, it is also a major headache, especially for commuters. It has shut down streets near the Convention Center, the White House, and the Mellon Auditorium. We talked with some commuters yesterday, and they said their drive times in the city has doubled or even tripled in some cases.
Just coming up from Northwest D.C., kind of near the Maryland-Bethesda border, and it took me probably 30-45 minutes to get down here, which is why I'm now filling up my tank. So
how long does it normally take you?
15-20 minutes.
Oh.
Yeah, it's been pretty bad today.
The Federal Triangle and Mount Vernon Square metro stops were shut down yesterday, but back open today. Many pedestrian crossings also closed, so you might want to give yourself a little bit of extra time for your commute this morning. All right, 8:09 now on a Wednesday. Major retailers going toe-to-toe with Amazon's Prime Day.
We're going to help you stretch your dollar this morning with some ways that you can take advantage of all the deals. Plus, have a rodent problem. A conference happening this week might be for you. Coming up this morning, we're going to share some details on a 2-day event helping people get a handle of rats in the district.
But first, taking a look outside, Jackie, today's a DMV warm day because of all the heat and humidity.
Yeah, we're talking about high temperatures bouncing back mid to upper 90s, but those feels like temperatures well into the triple digits. So make sure you're still taking those heat precautions again today. Thankfully, there's some relief in that 8-day forecast. I see some relief. I'll go over those details right after the break.